Alright, ladies and gentlemen, today's project will be replacing the fuel inlet on this 1999 FLT key and carburetor, and I think this applies to almost every key and carburetor from the Evos on, maybe even older. So anyway, this is what the inlet looks like. The replacement one is all made of brass, whereas the old one is half plastic and they usually crack, and mine is leaking, so I haven't taken the air cleaner off yet and to see what is actually leaking or what part of it. I'm sure it's where the plastic meets the brass insert. Now I'm sure this video has been done by other people, and I don't know if I'm going to be doing it their way or my way, or this is the way I do it, okay? So anyway, I got this little kit with the fuel petcock, and it comes with a puller, which is basically a collar, a 1/4-20 bolt, a nut, a big flat washer to keep it from spinning, and that will go into the brass part in the carburetor. It also comes with a 1/4-20 tap. Now you can probably make something like this yourself here, but for 30 bucks for the whole kit and everything, to me it wasn't a bad price, and it beats trying to dig through all my crap to try to come up with something. And I wasn't going to waste the time on it, even though I do have the tap and everything else. And I think you can get the fuel petcock, well, I know you can get the fuel petcock by itself, and they're about $9 bucks, somewhere around there. Now I got this on eBay, and the guy that sells it is in Homosassa, Florida, which is just about 24 miles away from me, I guess. Anyway, I had it delivered because it was $4.99 to have it delivered, and if I would have driven there and back and everything, it would have cost me, $10 or more in gas. So what the hell, and I wasn't in a hurry, so I wasn't going to start it till today. In either case, I'll give a few tips on how I do it, and we'll go along. And I've got a K&N Arlen Ness big sucker air filter assembly, and it is a K&N filter. So I am also going to do a cleaning on it while I have it out. And I do use a recharge kit from K&N. It comes with a cleaning fluid and the oil to respray it afterwards. Now, that being said, I highly advise getting that K&N recharge kit, because if you use anything other than that, like Safety Clean, mineral spirits, lacquer thinner, carb clean, or anything like that, you'll ruin your filter. I think the last time I got a recharge kit, now this will do a recharge for this filter probably about 8 or 9 times, and I think the recharge kit is right around 20 bucks, or last time I bought it. So considering Bidenomics now, it's probably going to be about 30 or 40. So, but it's still worth it to do it right. And that cleaning solution that comes with the kit is more than fantastic. It works so well. It's almost like you got a brand new filter when you wash it out. So we'll continue on here when I get some things apart, and we'll get into the meat and bones of it. Okay? Alrighty, air cleaner is off. That depends on what kind of air cleaner you run, so I didn't bother filming that. Now, here's the fuel inlet pipe, and you will want to mark or take a picture of it or whatever. What I use is a Sharpie, and I mark on the carburetor the orientation. That way when you put the new one in, you're going to face it the same direction that the old one came out, which is what you need to do. So I can see where the plastic is leaking right here, But what we're going to do here is we're just going to grab this with the plastic, and I can see it's turning on the brass fitting inside. So of course it won't break. That's crazy. Hang on a minute here. Usually they break. Let me see if I can get in there with a screwdriver and try to... Hold on, I can't do it with 2 screwdrivers. That won't work. That's kind of crazy. Alright, let me drop back and punt here and get something on it like a vice grip, and we'll be back in a minute. Alright, oops, I didn't catch that on camera. I didn't know if this one was too big or not, but all I used was a pair of vice grips, and where'd it go? Okay. I just took it on the outside, you know, not right in the middle, but closer to the outside, and just gave it a good squeeze with the vice grips, and it broke right off. So now you see the brass bushing, and what we're going to do now is we're going to take and shove a little bit of piece of paper towel in here. Let me get some of that gas out of there. And then I might get the air gun, blow that off a little bit, and get it off my damn chrome, which is starting to peel. But what I'm going to do is shove some paper in there, down about halfway or whatever, and then I am going to take the tap and I'm going to coat it real good with wheel bearing grease. That way it'll hold on to the shavings, and the paper towel will keep the shavings, whatever's in front of it, from going into the carburetor. So we'll continue on in a minute. Let me get my grease out and the paper towel and so on. See if we can zoom in on this a little bit tighter. Okay. I think that's about right. As you see, I've put a piece of paper in there, paper towel, kind of rolled it up. I'm just going to take a pick. You can use a small screwdriver or whatever, and shove that in there, and just get it in about that deep. Should hold on. And then I've also gotten my tap covered in grease and everything else. So now, as to running the tap in, this is a 12 point, let me get it in the 15/64. If you have a socket, a 12-point socket, 1/4 inch socket that is that size, 15/64, that'd be a great way to go about it. But all I have, all my 1/4 inch stuff is 6-point. So I'm going to go ahead and start tapping this, and I got to shut the camera off because I'm going to get right in the way of, you know, what I'm doing, so this won't be very informative at all. Okay, let's back off just a little bit. Yeah, maybe that was better. I don't know. Alright, so I've tapped it, and as you can see, the grease held on to a lot of the shavings. There's probably still a few more in there. I had to deep tap it a little bit, but let's see how this puller works. I've never used one of these before, but you just put it in, hold that, turn that around, and we'll, of course, different size, not a 3/8. It's So 7/16 here, and we're going to hold that, and we're just going to yank that out, I hope. Yeah, I can feel it pulling. So we do it slowly. That's a pretty good tight fit there. They should have done this from the factory, put the all brass fitting in there. The plastic shit, I don't know. I don't see how they saved any money by combining two different materials and then putting that together, and they certainly didn't save any weight. I mean, you know, maybe a gram or two, if that much. So, yeah, it seems to be pulling out all right. Either that or it's pulling the threads out, who knows. I don't know, it's, well, it's a deep one in there. Okay, yep, there we go. Okay, so we got the bushing out, or the fuel inlet thing. There's our piece of paper. Good amount of, little bit of shavings on that too. So, maybe I'm zoomed in too much, but there it is. Okay, so we got that out. And now, let me get everything ready to press the new one in, and I believe I have enough room here to do that with a C-clamp. And, yeah, I believe I do. We'll have to see how that works out. But we have our orientation, and we'll just be putting this in there as such again. Just like that. That's the way it's going to go. Now, of course, we want to start it as straight as possible, and once we get to pulling on it, now this thing has got a, it's not flat on that end. That's a little disappointing. It's going to be hard to get that in there. I think what I might do is take a very tiny little hammer and start that in to keep it in that orientation. So we will continue on in a minute. Okay, after a lot of messing around here, since this stupid thing isn't flat at the end, using a C-clamp didn't work at all. Nothing, I mean, it kept flopping off to the side. And I do think they make these as a, that do have a flat end on them. If you can get one of them, you can do it with a C-clamp, not a problem. But this one, it just keeps rolling right off. I tried a large pair of channel locks, and you can't get enough squeeze on it. What I did here is I used the little hammer to start, and I got it about halfway in with that, and then finally I just gave up and I used a little bit bigger one, and I held on to the carburetor, because these carburetors aren't really, they're just kind of shoved in there. They're not bolted on to the manifold. If I didn't have these leg lowers, these ultra lower fairings on the bike, it may have been easier to get one of my wood clamps, you know, those long ones with a handle on it, and that might have probably run that right in. So that's the way I did it. If you're careful and you tap it in, it goes in just fine, and when you hear it thunk, you know you've reached the end. You can quit beating on it. So all right, that's about it for that, and I'll mention the part number here for the fitting from the Harley-Davidson factory parts book, which I got to get out to get the number, and then I will show you the filter cleaning kit too. the box that it came in, and so on and so forth. So that's it for the fuel inlet replacement, and we'll go from there. Okay, to finish up here, all I have to do is now wash out the air filter, put the cover back on. Got a pen and paper ready, and I will give you the part number out of the factory parts manual. The fuel inlet fitting is number 42, which is 27371-76. The metal one has an A behind it, so it'll be a 76A, which indicates to me that they've been using this fitting since 1976. That makes sense. Shovel with a key in on it? Yeah, probably does. But the A designates the new brass fitting. Okay, so now that you have the part number, now if you look up that part number in on eBay, that kit, that puller kit and everything will show up along with just the fittings too, but he's got a couple of sites, or listings in there for that tool. Like I said, it's right around 30 bucks. So it's not bad. It worked out well. Okay, the other thing I want to mention is that torquing. You guys know how much I insist on things being torqued to their proper value. Now, a lot of people don't know about this, and a lot of people don't have it, but they have little booklets that are called Ready Reference, which have nothing but torque values in them for certain years, and it'll have all the models in it. Not just this model, but it'll have all of them. So this will give you the torque value for whatever you're working on. In this case, the air cleaner backplate screws to the cylinder head, which are the big ones here, are 120 to 144 inch-pounds. And the ones that go into the carburetor, the 3 here to hold the backing plate to it, for mine, for a 99, which is different than previous years, is 20 to 40 inch-pounds. Now if you don't have an inch-pound torque wrench, go to Harbor Freight and get you one. It's better than not having one at all and stripping out aluminum threads and shit, especially in the head. You don't want to strip that breather out in the head, because these two are breathers. They breathe in the it's a PCV system, if you will. All right, so that being said, also let's see here. Okay, I said I'd bring up the K&N recharge kit, and it comes in a box, and it has the 2 chemicals in it. It'll have the cleaner, K&N air filter cleaner, and it'll have the spray oil, so that you can respray it after you've cleaned it, this is water soluble, the cleaner, and once you hose it out and everything, from the inside out, obviously, you let it dry. Try not to blow dry it. Shake it off as much as you can, and then put it out in the sun or whatever to dry it. Blowing through a K&N air filter, especially the opposite way, isn't really a good idea. It breaks down the membrane, the cloth that they're made of. So, but let it dry out thoroughly, completely, before you spray the oil back on it, and get a good red covering all the way around. Like I said, this kit will last me at least 8 cleanings or more. I forget. I mean, this is the second kit I've bought since I've owned the bike, so that'll tell you something. All right, that should do the end of it, and yeah, that's it. And if you're going to do this job, remember to get a new gasket for the carburetor to the housing. just in case it rips like mine did. I just put a little bit of Vaseline on it, and all the parts are still there, so it should seal up all right. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna sweat that little bit of air leaking if it does at all. So that's it. All right, folks, that'll end my lengthy video again, I'm sure. By the time I put this together, it wasn't a short one. Talk to you later. Bye.